Madam rides the bus. Now, this story has been written by Wali Khannan, who is this is a sensitive story about an 8-year-old girl who just takes her first bus ride all alone into the world outside her village. Okay, and this chapter is also depicting that her induction into the mystery of life and death. During her journey, she experiences all these, and these mysteries are being revealed to her. Now, let us move ahead with some of the key highlighting key points to be remembered from the chapter. The story is about an 8-year-old girl named Walimai. She was very curious to know about the things. Her nickname is Wali, and she is a curious girl. All the time she used to look around and explore the things, and she is the main protagonist of this story. Her favorite pastime was to stand at the front doorway of her house and see what was happening in the street. Since she was not having many companions to play with, so this was her most interesting pastime. She used to stand in front of her door, the door of her house, and she used to just keep on viewing the street, and there the bus used to come and move and cross from her street, and that was the one of the most fascinating things. She developed a desire to ride the bus. This becomes her deepest desire. Now, also she would watch the bus that passed every hour from her village to the nearest town. So, this was a usual practice, a routine was there, that after every hour the bus used to pass from her street and it used to go to the town. So, she was being continuously she used to keep on viewing those bus, and she was very attracted finding different people every time riding those buses. Okay. So, gradually desire, an urge to ride that, to take a ride on that bus was being developed in her mind, and it became a very strong desire. It had grown over the time. Wali found out the details of the bus journey by listening carefully to the conversations between her neighbors and regular bus users. So, she first collected lots of information about the bus journey, and through various sources here, by through the conversation by those people who have taken the bus ride, and she came to know that the town was just 6 miles away, 6 miles from her village, and the fare for the bus journey was 30 paise one way. The trip took 45 minutes. So, with all these details, she started making a plan how to take a bus ride. Wali planned her visit to the town. She saved 60 paisa for the fare. Finally, one day she took the 1 o'clock bus to the town. So, finally, as she was been planning, she was saving money for quite some time, resisting to all her temptation for small petty things like peppermints, or once there was a fair also in the village, then too she resisted her temptation for taking a ride on merry-go-round, but finally she was able to save 60 paisa for a to and fro journey to the town on that bus. So, finally one day she took the 1 o'clock bus to the town. Now, this afternoon time was also been identified by her, as her mother used to take a nap in the afternoon, and during those 2-3 hours she will be able to take up this to and fro bus ride. Okay. Wali was very happy to have got into the bus. On the way to the town, Wali saw a cow running right in front of the bus. She clapped as the cow kept on running towards the bus despite the continuous honking by the driver. So, her bus ride started and she was been very excited. She was been standing on her seat and looking out, having a glance of the complete scenery outside the bus window. And when she was been moving further on that same bus ride, there she encountered with a young cow who was been just galloping and jumping, keeping its tail to be high, and Wali liked it immensely, and she was been clapping. She was very glad and very happy, and she was been laughing. Okay, and so that incident was been another very heartily incident which happened. Wali did not get off the bus when it reached the town. She also declined the offer of a cold drink by the conductor, because Wali has already planned a return journey in the bus. So, she did not get down from the bus even when the conductor insisted, who was been a frank person, and he also offered her cold drink, but she denied, and she gave the justification that she does not have enough money to actually pay for that cold drink. So, with that, finally her waiting period was over and the return journey started. Okay. So, on the return journey, she saw the same cow lying dead by the roadside. This unpleasant sight made her very sad. So, while on the return journey, she was looking outside, and still she was being very happy to explore the scenery, and when they were moving, they found she saw that the cow that was being found when she has taken the previous journey, the fourth journey. That cow was lying dead, and the eyes were being open, and it was still, it was motionless. Okay, everywhere the blood was being scattered, and it was a very dreadful scene, and she was being immensely shocked, finding that wonderful, playful, energetic cow to be altogether, it was being suddenly found to be dead and lying like that. The bus reached the village at 3:40. She ran straight for her home after getting down the bus. Now, on viewing that scene, she was being very upset, and she even stopped looking outside the bus, and by 3:40 her bus reached her village, and she just got down, and immediately she ran towards her house, where she found that her mother did not come to know about that she has taken a bus ride, and she was been chatting with one of her aunts. So, this is how this chapter is been completed here with her adventurous journey on the bus ride. Now, let us move to our chapter number 10 of our book First Flight, that is the sermon at Banaras. Now, this chapter has been written by this chapter has been the first sermon which was delivered by Buddha at the city of Banaras. Okay. Now, sermon, as we understand, is a religious preaching or a lecture which is being delivered to the disciples. Okay. So, here Gautam Buddha, as we can see, Buddha is the founder of Buddhism, and this lesson is about the life of Gautam Buddha, who was born in a royal family as Siddhartha. So, Gautam Buddha being a part of the royal family was being brought up as a prince, and he was sent to study Hindu scriptures and later married a princess. So, when he was 12 years old, he was being sent to take up his studies in Gurukul, and when he was he returned back at the age of after 4 years, when he was 16 years old, he returned back from Gurukul and he got married to a princess Yashodhara, where now after that he lived a happy and very rich and lavish royal life away from all the various griefs and pains. Okay, and he was being up till the age of 25, all the things were going very fine, but one fine day when he was 25 years old, at that time he went for a hunting trip, and when he was on that hunting trip, he just saw once he saw a sick man, an old man, a funeral procession and a monk begging for money. Now, this realistic feel which he got of the sufferings and pains when he saw a sick man who was suffering, an old man who was suffering because of his old age, he was been experiencing pain, people were being mourning in the funeral procession, okay, and the miseries of the monk, he was being begging for his livelihood, okay. So, that is how he was being encountered, first time he encountered with the pains and sufferings of the outside world, which was up till now being closed for him. He had never experienced that life. So, these sights moved him and he went to search for enlightenment. Now, he was being very upset and he was he really these griefs and sufferings of the common people moved him a lot, and he immediately left his palace and went for the search of truth, the purpose of life, and for attaining enlightenment. He started meditating under a peepal tree and got enlightened after 7 days and became known as Buddha. So, finally, when he kept on searching for the truth of the life, the purpose of the life, and after a long period, he finally one day he decided that he will not, he swear that until and unless he finds the answers of the questions and his search is been over, he will not stand up, and he just started meditating under a peepal tree. And finally, after 7 days of continuous meditation, he attained the enlightenment. He found the answers of all his questions and his search was being over, and that is why after getting that enlightenment he was being named Buddha. Now, Buddha here he preached his first sermon at Banaras after getting enlightened, and when he got enlightened, that peepal tree was being known as Bodhi tree. Okay. Now, after that he went to he delivered his first sermon at Banaras to his disciples over there. Once a woman came to him requesting to bring her dead son to life. In that sermon, he narrated about an incident where one of the lady, Kisa Gautami, she came to her with her dead son, and she was being unable to accept the death of her son, and to find out a treatment which can cure her son, she was being referred to Gautam Buddha, and where she was being requesting to bring her dead son to life. Gautam Buddha asked the lady to bring a handful of mustard seeds from a house where there had been no death. So, Gautam Buddha, he said that okay, I will give you the cure and I will treat your son, but the only condition is that for that reason you need to bring a handful of mustard seeds from a house which could be which has not experienced any deaths of friend, family and nears and dears of in that particular house. Now, it became very difficult, it was next to impossible, and Kisa Gautami went from home to home, house to house, searching for such a house, but she was unable to find any such house. The lady moved from one house to another, but she could not find a single house where no one has lost a child, husband, parent or friend. So, in every house, the families, the people, they have experienced death of their nears and dears, maybe the family members or friends. Okay, so Kisa Gautami did not find, she was unable to bring those mustard seeds, and during that particular search, she finally got the answer and to her search, that what exactly she was been searching, that she came to know the mystery of death, and she was being able to understand the concept of death. Okay. Then she came to know that death is common to all and is the ultimate truth of life. Now, this fact was been realized by Kisa Gautami when she moved from house to house. So, finally, after this narration of this story of Kisa Gautami, Gautam Buddha, he told his disciples about that how a person can come out of the grief of and the pains of this worldly losses which he encounters because of the death, because of the pain and suffering, and the only way is to move further and to not to complain and keep on lamenting, keep on crying, weeping for those griefs. Rather, it would be the person who will come out, who will become composed, and he will obtain peace, and he will peace and calm and serenity in his life. So, such a man will be free from the sorrow, and he will be blessed by God. So, this was about the preachings which about the death and the concepts of life, which was delivered by Gautam Buddha at Banaras. So, students, we have covered our up till chapter number 10 here. Chapter number 11 will be continued in our next video. Thank you, students. When Gautam Buddha, he narrated the story of Kisa Gautami, and after that he made a complete description of the concepts of life and death to his disciples, describing him the truth that once a person takes birth, he is being he will approach, he has the risk of death always, and the death is the ultimate end of every person who is being the part of this mortal world. Now, he also tells about that just if you keep on mourning and lamenting, weeping and crying for the pains and sufferings, you will never come out of those sufferings. Rather, it will be difficult for you to obtain the peace of mind, and your body will also fall sick. So, he says that the person who keeps himself composed, and he will only be able to obtain the peace of mind, and such a man will be free from the sorrow and will be blessed by God. So, this is how our chapter the sermon at Banaras which has been delivered by Gautam Buddha ends here. So, students, the chapter number 11, the proposal will be taken up in the next video. So, up till here we have covered in this video. We will take up this next video with the next chapter. Thank you, students.